going to start because I'm probably going to do some sort of introduction.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time to come on.
Yeah.
We're going to jump right into what you do because it's social and digital media manager is interesting to me because I've worked in that, respect. That's what I do. What we do as a company. It's one of the things that we do.
Yep.
But it's interesting because, 10 years ago, it didn't really exist. Like there weren't, like you would be handling, I remember working in a company and they're like, oh, we should start up a Facebook page. Who's going to handle that? It went on to somebody. It wasn't like a dedicated thing. I don't know. That's just something to bring up. It wasn't really a question. I just what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
My dream job is to travel and eat and I don't know, just
want to travel and eat.
Yeah. Just to be out there. I like to be out there doing things and experiencing things. And my job now and the jobs I've had before that really allowed me to do that. Just to get out and, right now, like campus or any other little town or city. That is my dream job.
So where are you from? I know that you're not from the area.
No, I'm not really from Bethlehem. I'm from Delaware Water Gap area. So I mean, it's
not from not insanely far away. No,
it's still the Lehigh Valley, but growing up, we rarely came to Bethlehem. We did not do much. It's 40 minutes. So when you're in high school and elementary school, you're kind of just staying over there.
We don't think about I grew up in. And I'm sure nobody cares. I've said this a million times, but I grew up in a small town of Honesdale, and when you're a kid, when you're growing up, you don't generally. I'm not concerned about what's going on in another town. You're like, I'm worried about what's going on my block. So it is kind of weird when you even. I know people who grow up in the Lehigh Valley, and they think it's so small. They're living in Las Vegas or LA or something. I guess it is all relative, but yeah, it is interesting when you're younger. You definitely don't.
Yeah, we never came back. We never came over here. I'm still learning things about Bethlehem. I'm like, okay, that's great. And people are like, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I did not.
Don't shame me. Yeah, I don't like that. If you figure it out. Well, it's just funny. I put up a picture of, the banana factory in Southside.
Cool. That was such a cool.
It was the guy who actually had bananas there. It was a banana warehouse, factory, I guess, a warehouse. I don't think they were growing them there. I would imagine that they were just warehouse there.
Storage.
Anyway, somebody said they commented, I had no idea that was actually a banana factory or had anything to do with bananas. I thought it was just a stupid name they gave it. So yes.
I saw that and I agree. So it's little things like that through social media you're able to learn that or share that or talk about it. And Bethlehem has been great for my job and where I want to be.
And where'd you go to school? I know I should know. I forget.
Do you want me to start with my associates and up or my recent degree? And then
what do you go ahead. Which ones?
So my education. So I started my college when I was in high school. So I started the dual admission program at Northeastern Community College. So that's smart. I feel like that gave me a step up, and I really was.
You're the second Allison, who was our intern and now does some work for us. She also did that.
Yeah.
Allison Pittenger. So she was before she graduated high school at Freedom. She had already had a semester. No, I think a year done or 2 semesters done.
I had about a semester. So then once I finished high school, I then went to Northampton for their radio and TV program, which is what it was when I was a student. I think they changed the name now. So I did that for 2 years. So that's where I got all the technical stuff, how to use a camera, your sound, all of those foundations with media. And then I transferred to Westchester University. So that's where I finished my bachelor, did the 2 years, traditional courses, theory, down in Westchester. So a great school. And then I wasn't done and I didn't want to be done. So then I decided I'm going to go do my master's in England. So I did a year program and then 2 year work experience. at Bournemouth University, which is like in the south of England.
And what's your master's in?
Media and communication. So all 3 degrees, media, essentially. However,
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to put down anybody. I have a bachelor's degree in English, and that's how I'm using it now.
great.
But no, I'm saying like that's a very good resume. It's a very impressive.
It is impressive. I'm very happy with it. I'm very proud of it. And it really shows that, at least in my opinion, I was able to go to school and get a job in my field. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
Which you don't hear of much, but, that's still the traditional model.
So how far removed from your bachelor, like how long ago did you graduate from Westchester?
I graduated in 2015, and I graduated about a year early from 20.
This is interesting for somebody like you or anybody listening who's thinking of doing social media or digital media. Do you think that working on some of that traditional stuff, like the cameras and learning some of that laborious process, was helpful? Because I know that it's easy to go right to the cell phone now.
Yeah.
Do you think having that process helped you?
Immensely, and it's more the technical side of it. You know how your sound levels are. Lighting.
Yeah.
If you don't have a phone, and there still are cameras lying around, and especially small businesses, they have older technology where you need to pick up a DSLR. But even high-end companies have or use DSLRs or.
Well, I think you would stand out. Like if I'm kind of like speaking to somebody who's like, hey, I'm gonna go out and I want to get a job in social media or digital media or videography. It's
production. You need to produce.
Having that fundamental level is important. I get there's people I have a nice Olympus and we do work on.
Yeah, I've seen your stuff. I've seen it.
And I'm proud of it. I've taken the time to learn. And then I look at some people I know, like a friend Ted Colgrove, who you look at the stuff he does and the knowledge of the technology is insane. I'll never get to that level, but I'm happy to at least be able to say I'm capable of the stuff that we need to do to get done. Some of the stuff that I've seen, especially locally, is just insane.
Yeah.
But that's good. If I ever need something, I know who to call. I'm one of those guys.
I think Ted is a Moravian now.
He is, yep. Well, he's a faculty member too. I don't want to talk too much about him.
No, but I can't.
All good stuff.
I will say I got my job right now because I remember walking in there and can you make videos? Point blank. And I was like, yes. And then sure enough, here I am now. And that was one of the.
I think, I like TikTok in the sense that it kind of teaches you editing. Sort of even though I know it's not traditional, but that's the one thing. If I could tell anybody to learn is some video editing, even if it's the fundamental, I can do it on iMovie or something that really helps separate you because then you're the person who they're going to go to maybe at your company, maybe you can do more stuff with it or
and it's
whatnot.
To me, I see it as all just it's building blocks, it's the foundations. If you can do iMovie, then maybe in 2 months you upgrade yourself to Premiere, and then you just build on what you can know and do. And especially looking back 6 years ago when I graduated, even 6 years, there were not things that we have now. And
well, I think it's a proliferation of apps like Canva.
Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword, right? I saw you roll your eyes because it's great in the fact that it simplifies, you can work more quickly.
I can.
But it also puts it in the hands of some people who might not know some of the fundamentals of design.
And then you look at it, you're like, oh my God, no! But how do we use this?
But you're like, thank you so much for making this. In Canva, I could tell that you like fonts and a lot of them,
and colors and boxes. And
it's like because it used to be. You're probably a little too young for this. I guess they still do it, but MS Word files were like that would be something when I was maybe in my 20s or early 30s, where you would be getting stuff from people that they try to treat it an MS, a doc file, like a PDF or something. They would jam in as many things as possible. Or they say, hey, I have all these photos for you. I put them in a Word file, and they would take the pictures and put them in.
I still get that. I honestly.
That's the worst. Because then you download it, and it's like 27 kilobytes or whatever.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, post this on a website. Oh, just yeah, it's still out there.
But it's interesting. And it does. Those things, they're definitely helpful, but they can be a double-edged sword. So, more back to you. Was Moravian, which I'm biased and I don't care.
Go for it.
I should have Moravian. I have college down here. I should change it because it's going to be university.
University. That's a big project coming up that we're doing.
Yeah, I guess we can't. I mean, the reasons behind that, I don't know how long. Like, it's just that's what it is now. Moravian is not some. They have so many different colleges within it that it represents. It looks more like a university. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it also.
Yep.
Let's be honest. If you're a university, you're going to attract more attention. Yeah. So, but yes, how did that go? Like, what was your interest, or how did that story play out?
That story played out because when I was living in England when Brexit came, and Brexit, in a nutshell, in my experience, was like, you're international, get out. We don't want you. And at that time, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I wasn't like in a very high-end job.
Yeah.
I had nothing going for me where they were like, okay, we'll keep your visa.
And they're like, please leave the country.
They're like, leave the country. So my visa expired January 17th, 2019. I left England that exact day it expired. And then from January, I came home. I was like, I need a job now. And just the timing, Moravian was hiring. I went through the application process, the interviews. I got the job in March. I started that first week, and I've been there.
Were you always interested in education, or was it?
No.
Was you kind of happy that it fell in that way, or?
It just happened that way. It checked a lot of my boxes. It was close. It was reputable. I got, good benefits, everything like that. I can draw parallels between, again, I said I wanted to travel. My jobs before this were more in the tourism stuff.
Sure.
So like Discover Lehigh Valley. If they were, I would have loved that stuff, but Moravian was there. I
was there for like 3 years. I got to go to El Paso.
Yeah, I just love it.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Don't go down there.
Nashville. We did a trade show in New York City.
Yeah, like I said, I like travel marketing, and but yeah, that's how I ended up at Moravian, and yeah, it'll be. Let's talk
about that. Travel marketing is really interesting to me because I've been obsessing over going places since you can't now, but my wife's been making fun of me. I've been watching. I don't know if you watch on YouTube. Like, I'll look up there's a bunch of different ones. It's like the top 10 small towns in the USA and that sort of thing. But I'm interested in going to a town like Des Moines or I don't know, just
Fargo. I want to go to Fargo.
Somewhere like it just, and not to be like cute about it, but just that it's so not where everybody goes. So it might be really interesting, and they've got to have a neat culture. And
there's so many places there. So my job that I was doing in England that I just did not want to leave. I was crushed when I couldn't stay. I mean, I tried everything. So I lived in the city of Oxford, which is famous for Oxford University. And my job was to promote the city, promote the county.
Okay.
Come here, come to Oxford. Look at all the amazing.
So like the tourism bureau for Oxford.
Yeah, the tourism board for Oxford, which is like, essentially it's Harry Potter world.
Yeah.
It's a reputable university with the most well-known novel series of books ever. Like, it was the best job ever, and I got to do amazing things because I was the marketing.
Do you think if you didn't get kicked out because of Brexit, would you still be there?
Oh, without a doubt.
Whoa,
Like
that's so.
I had the best life. I had this apartment in the middle of the city. I had a bike. I had a whole
You had it all. I mean, but no, I mean that sounds funny, but yeah, it's simple. It's
it was amazing.
nice.
The pay was not that great, but I have
Well, who
accepted.
cares? You have a bike.
I had a bike. I could go anywhere, do anything. Yeah, it was just the best job. I got to
Well,
make.
how does that? Because I guess I'm not as well versed on it. When your visa expired, there was no way for you to extend it. Like there was
No,
nothing. Wouldn't normally when in normal times wouldn't that be easy to do, or is it just in your situation?
it was very challenging because the way the visa system works is you have to prove yourself why you deserve the job over a British person, over an EU person. You know,
Okay.
to keep it all not localized, but like they don't want to outsource everything.
I mean, I get, yeah. If you do it for one, then it's very easy to do it for a lot. I get that thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And the people who most likely got as internationals who got to stay and go that route were like scientists or
Sure.
athletes or novelists, people who had an exceptional skill. I did content. Like, this is not someone.
Don't sell yourself short. It's not like it's useless. You were promoting people that come travel
I
there.
was promoting so much, and I mean, I have the stats to prove it. But in the eyes of the government, I was not it. So yeah, my visa expired, and here I am.
So, I mean, would you think what? I don't want to say what are your plans now. Obviously, you like your job, but is that something down the future that you would say?
Yeah, I would.
I'd be interested in doing it.
I mean, COVID really hit the travel market.
Oh yeah, it's
Everyone closed down their travel bureaus or everything.
well. You talk about Discover Lehigh Valley. Even them, I'm sure. I don't know, but people aren't coming to the Lehigh Valley. You know, if they can't come, they're having issues as well. So it's not just these other places; it's also here too.
It's everywhere. So I mean, once COVID hits and or stop
Leaves, yeah.
Sorry, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna leave my job right now because that's not happening.
No.
But
I'm looking forward to. It's funny, not funny, but my daughter's old enough now. I want to take her some Moravian basketball games, and because it's nearby. Well, it's fun. Why not? But of course, you know, I say that, and then we're not able to do anything. And I just want to. When this is all over, I need to I wrote down all the things that we said we were going to do, and I'm gonna have to make sure that we do them all.
Yeah, you'll have so many things to do.
Because it's easy to right now say, oh, I want to travel to Des Moines or I want to do that. But, you know, it's different to actually making plans. So where's your favorite place that you've traveled to then? Besides what you've already mentioned.
I really liked the south of Portugal. I thought that was just it was so reasonable. I got a flight there for less than $30 round trip. From London. I mean, from London to...
Okay, still, that's cheap.
It's so cheap.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any cheaper you can go. And that was a great little area, coastal. In the U.S., where do I like to travel?
It's in Wildwood.
I haven't thought of that exactly, but I don't know, George. I don't have any.
The U.S. is man.
I mean, I've been skiing, so any ski mountain. I've been to Montana, Colorado.
My sister lives in Portland. I really like the Pacific Northwest. It feels different out there.
It doesn't. Haven't been out there, but I would love to go there.
But yeah, traveling is something that I hope, you know, however this is going to, obviously the vaccine, I think, is what's going to be able to reel this in as much as possible. Where's the first place you're going to go? Have you actually been planning a little bit or not, kind of just waiting?
Not so much. The last trip I took was to France to go skiing, and that was a year ago. And then COVID hit, so I have not really.
Have you traveled your entire? Because most people don't go to France to ski. Go to the sun and like, I'm feeling a little bit of like.
I'm not going down that.
Like it's a very normal activity.
Well, it's a.
Have you traveled your whole life? Did your parents take you places? Is that?
I have
been. Yeah,
I have been
I would
everywhere.
imagine. Okay.
I've been everywhere, but I don't want to go down that route. But again, it really does mean a lot, and I have done a lot of cool things and seen a lot of cool places.
Sure.
So I kind of think lofty. I'm not like, I'm going to go to Lancaster for the day.
No, I'm not. Listen, I get that, and that's it. It's.
I think so high. Like I just want to go.
Traveling internationally, it just seems so. Especially now, like it's just so difficult. But you being, with well versed in it and have done it so much, it makes sense to me. I'm planning on going to Des Moines, so
okay.
We have different.
Send me a postcard.
I bet they have some. It's funny to watch, when you really dive into some of the local tourism. Like I'd be interested in looking at Oxford. It's interesting to see how places sell themselves a lot of the time, and I'm sure that you do it with school. Like you can say, I wonder what they're doing. Like we can do a little bit of it here.
Yeah, it's finding this just like really unique points that make you want to know more about it and make you stop in your tracks, make you stop scrolling and really engage with it and see it.
Well, without giving away like your secrets, like what are some like techniques that as the social and digital media manager for Moravian College that maybe you have seen in the last year? I don't know, like that you use or that are interesting to you? Like
tool-wise or what?
I guess school-wise. Like I'm trying to think of examples. Like have you been doing a lot of getting people to share certain things? Is it more when you go around right now? Is it more taking photos of campus?
I would say, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
In the last year or so with COVID, one thing that has really worked are throwback pictures. The example of the Banana Factory post, like just seeing old photos work very well because it's relatable to like the alumni, but it's also current students who are like, oh my gosh, that's this building. That's not it. So that's worked very well.
That's exactly how they sound too when I picture them when they're mad.
Anything with like a dog in it, like that's always a default. I want to share the story about the Weather Channel and how that.
Yeah, do that, and you tell it.
Because that post really is an example of combining like, social media, thinking outside the box, representing Moravian. Just so many.
Well, I'll set the stage and then you take it. So Jim Cantor from the Weather Channel came up to Bethlehem during that crazy snowfall last month, and everyone was freaking out. I retweeted it because he's the thunder snow guy, so he's exciting. People are taking selfies with him, socially distanced and all that. Yep. You got wind of all this, and now you tell it from here. So
So I got wind of it that morning. It was like, I think 7:30 he posted his first photo. So I was just kind of getting up, going through my Instagram feed and saying, oh my gosh, he's on Main Street. Oh my gosh, there's Brethren's house in the background. And I drove right over there. And I was like the only one there at that time. And I showed up. I parked my car.
Hi, Jim.
Listen, I showed up. I parked my car. I was like, hi, I'm the social media manager for Moravian. What are you doing here? And then this was all off camera. Like they weren't live or anything. So I was talking to him.
That's good. You didn't stop him when he's live on the Weather Channel.
No. So I got talking to him and his producer, gave him some facts about Bethlehem, about Moravian. And then he told me, he said, okay, we'll be back here at 7:00 if you want to come back, if you want to do anything. And I said, okay, great. And I had no plan at that time. At that time, it was like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. So then I go back to my place. I post the pictures. I follow him. Jim Cantore still keeps posting stuff. And it goes, he goes on and off on TV that day. And then come like 4:00 that day, 4 or 5, I sent an email to President Grigsby, and I mean, Joy, I never send an email to President Grigsby. Why would I directly send an email to the president?
How many times did you spell check it?
Yeah. So I'm like, this is either going to get me like fired or this is going to go really well. So at 4 or 5 o'clock, I sent an email. I said, "Hey Grigsby, Jim is going to be at."
Wait, you're worried? You're worried about messaging the president of Moravian College? Did you say, "Hey Grigsby"?
No, I think I said like, "Hi." Like we call him
Dear Mr. President. I know he's a great guy. But it's funny.
Brian. So I was like, "Hi, Brian. I was on Main Street. I was talking to the producer. Blah blah blah." I said he told me if you want to be, keep in mind by 6 o'clock we had enough snow on the ground where
it was bad. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So by this time, nobody should be driving.
Nobody should be driving. I'm not leaving my apartment, my parking spot, to go there. Like, I'm not. But President Grigsby only lives around the corner.
Sure. Yep.
From where they were live broadcasting. So I emailed him. I was like, "Look, he will be here at 7 o'clock. Any chance you could go with Mo and Benny, to see him?" And I'm like, That's all I said. I said 7 o'clock, be here. We'll hope for the best. And he says, "Okay, Mo and Benny don't really like the snow,
Sure.
Greyhounds."
And they are Greyhounds. Okay, the Moravian Greyhounds. So these are full size.
Yeah,
big one.
Very little.
They're robust.
So he said, "Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll see what I can do." That was the last I heard at like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
All right.
Come 7, I'm sitting on my couch with the TV on, and then I see in the background, oh my gosh.
You see
is that what I think it is?
Wait, so you're watching it live and you're like, do it.
And I'm watching live as everyone else is. And, you can see the clip online. It's on our social media.
I'll link it here.
Okay.
So if anybody who hasn't seen it, I'll link it in the show notes if you want to watch it.
It's an amazing clip. So then, Brian does his thing. Mo steals the show. And it just was, perfect. There was really no script. He just showed up and Jim happened to be live the exact moment. It's not like they pulled him in from the side. He was literally just walking there.
So basically, you tipped them off. You said, "Hey, this might work." And well, first of all, they told you, so it's not even like you're doing anything. They said, "Hey, come back."
Yep, and they just told me if you can. Like they didn't have expectations. I didn't have expectations.
Sure.
And
then for people who haven't watched it or can't watch it, Jim spots him, and he's walking these beautiful greyhounds.
Yeah.
So he goes over to him, and then boom, you have everyone watching, learning about Moravian College on the Weather Channel live.
Because as I was watching it, I was taking pictures from my phone and recording it, and then I instantly tweeted it, and I tagged the Weather Channel. I think I posted on Instagram, and I said, I forget what I said exactly, but it was something like an email social media @moravian.edu, which is like my public-facing email account. Right. And then a minute later, the clip showed up in my inbox.
They know what they're doing. These Weather Channel guys are not dumb.
But this is the crazy part as well. The person who sent me that clip, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, is based in Atlanta. So it was some random social media person on the Weather Channel's end who sent me the clip. I then went ahead and posted like this high quality, actual content clip, what you see out there now. And it all happened in a matter of like 5 minutes. And I keep checking the stats just out of curiosity for this clip.
Sure.
It's one of the most viewed clips for the Weather Channel.
And break that down and think about like the processes that made that happen. It was just you going, "Hey, I know he's going to be here. I know it probably won't work, but I'm just going to give it this little nudge.
Just going to try."
And the fact that they kept the time and then President Grigsby could roll up there.
That's still the greatest part is, wow, President Grigsby, you are amazing. You actually did it. Like he could have said, "No way, it's cold."
But and then think of the, one of the most viewed clips, and you can't really put a figure on that type of content. It's invaluable because you can't create it. No. Everything had to align. It did. No cheating. It was just, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, it was.
And that is,
It was so authentic. It worked, and it was so timely because reality was we were all sitting on our couches waiting, watching the snow come down, and like on social media, everyone's on social media at that time. Mm-hmm. So it just everything came together.
Well, think about that too. I was going to ask this question too, kind of leading into this. When you're touching students, prospective students, so there is part of it where we want to reach out to alumni, but you also want to get their eyes. I want to go to the school with the president who does cool things like that. Not that that's why I'm picking a school, but it definitely helps get the word out.
It's the real good.
I would think you, differently than some companies or institutions, have to kind of play to different audiences. So do you think about that often? How I'm gearing this to a high school kid who is way different than gearing it towards, the alumni who is graduated 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's always in the back of my mind when I'm posting. And luckily the different platforms we have kind of segmented themselves by default towards who is on what. Facebook is a bit older, more alumni based. Our TikTok is definitely a freshman or a senior in high school. So I'm able to naturally know what to post on which platform. And then the timing of it, I'm not going to post something so early on Instagram because I know if it's students, well, they're still sleeping or getting ready for the day. Whereas Facebook a bit earlier.
I mean, it's those kind of things, like those extra little.
Knowing your audience, knowing the times and the engagement. Like, there's so many little check boxes.
It's easy. Listen, I don't get offended, but I loved it. Like this discussion I've had. I don't want to name anything, but. People who can say, "Oh, why would you hire someone to do that? Just get like your nephew to do it."
No,
that sort of thing. And it's like I get what you're saying, but there's a big difference between putting up pictures of something, your business or whatever, and then doing that strategically thought out.
Exactly.
Why am I going to talk to Jim Cantor today?
Yep.
Because I'm trying to get this thing in motion where we could possibly be reached by millions of people, like that type of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's where I see, like, everyone's going to be on social media, but not everyone's going to be doing those things.
Yep. Exactly that. I just think there is so much behind the scenes that, the average person doesn't see. So knowing, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, making your dimensions, just all these little things make the end result and make what the end viewer or what the person sees like worth paying a professional.
Agreed. What's your favorite platform now? Like, what do you personally use the most?
Instagram for sure, because it is visual. It has music. It has video. You can put links. Like, you can do a lot.
Do you Reddit a lot? You go on Reddit a bunch?
No.
You don't?
Only like if I'm really curious about something and then I go on a Reddit thread, or if it's linked to another article, or sometimes a viral thing starts on Reddit. But no, I'm not really.
Yeah, no, it's harder to utilize, but I'm just always curious about like all the different types of tools. So where do we go now? I mean, you're currently, I don't know when this is going to air. I mean, we're in the winter, probably sometime in the winter. You were going into 2021. Have you started your process of, you not go to the details, but I mean, is it a different way of planning now? Like, because you're like, hey, this is here. And it wasn't like a year ago when this could maybe it'll be here for 2 weeks. Maybe like basically it's like this is here for a while.
Yeah.
Like, are you planning differently? Has it been that process?
No, for me personally, I would say not so much. I still am working from home. We're not working from campus, so I'm not able to do in the moment things.
Yeah.
I'm like, I always have to plan if I'm going to be on campus because we have to take like a survey every day.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say everything's too different yet. We're definitely losing, like we don't have many opportunities for photo shoots anymore or video.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're recycling a lot of stuff. So
Yep.
the amount of fresh stuff that we have is like dwindling.
Well, I mean, that's just inevitable. Yeah. I mean, that's everybody. It's funny too. We were taking, I was taking photos the other day, and it's like we have to take two versions, one with a mask on and one with one off, because where are we going to use it? We're not sure, that sort of thing.
So I'm worried about we're not going to have enough of stuff to pull from. And then what happens if we go all virtual? Like students have to be doing things, and most of my job is look what our students did. In a very basic sense, look what our students did. Show it. So that's kind of getting a bit.
Well, it's an interesting kind of catch-22 in the sense that it's virtual. We're all virtual all the time, but not being in person takes away from you getting the content that you need to put online.
Yeah, I mean,
you can only go so long,
Right. I'm recycling a lot of stuff, or I'm formatting things differently. Like I make it more TikTok friendly versus Facebook friendly. So again, it keeps me busy, but I'm just like, I want new stuff. I want to be.
I feel the same way.
Like,
well, I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, is hopefully you can look forward to traveling more. That's the plan for me too. It's just we got to get through it. But I appreciate you coming out and stay on when I end this. I should have told you that at the beginning, but stay on when I end this.
Highlight.
Great. Well, I thought like getting Jim Cantor be the highlight. I'm flattered.
Every time I saw you in the last 2 to 3 months, I'd be like, George, when am I coming on?
Well, no, I appreciate it. This is fun. Like we're getting. I guarantee if we weren't going through COVID, like this kind of stuff, doing even the podcast I wouldn't be doing it. So it's also interesting in that realm too, that because of COVID, unfortunately, it's propelled us to be like, well, how can we do the things we did before? The podcast is hopefully one of them, at least for now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of new podcasts pop up, and new businesses are trying it, and some are good, some aren't so good.
My advice for any podcasting is just plan it a little bit, just a little bit, and be consistent. Like for example, when we ended, we did finish with season 3, we're like, okay, take a breath so that we can plan a little and then go into the next one. But there's I've thought about that too with traveling. Like I definitely want to do more video and stuff when I travel. I don't know if it's going to be good but.
Well, are you on the Friends of Bethlehem Facebook group?
I'm a moderator. What?
You're on that one? Is it the Friends of Bethlehem or there's another one? And that guy who's out there taking.
Oh, wait! Don't say names. Don't say anybody's name.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
What's he doing?
He's going out in Bethlehem and showing Southside, or he was at the cemetery, or he was.
What are you showing? He's just taking pictures?
No, it's video. It's him with his GoPro. And he just films himself walking, or he sets it up and does some kind of shots. And it's the most amateur, basic.
Wait, do you like it?
I love
it. Okay, good. I'm like, this guy's gonna email me.
It is something it has no production value, but it's authentic, and it's showing me Bethlehem in a different viewpoint. And,
I agree.
And all his facts that he knows, and I don't know where he's getting his information, but
I feel like, who is this guy?
I know who I'm talking about.
I have to.
But, he just did a Moravian one, and he never reached out to us. He showed some really old screenshots that I wish we could have helped him with, but he's out there putting his spin on it, and just video. And
this was recent?
I would say the last month or so I've seen a few pop up. but they're just like you said, you just have to be consistent, and he is, and they're just so like. I've enjoyed them, but again,
I had to go through and find it. Maybe he has me blocked. Hopefully that's not the case.
I'll send you a link for it, but it's just so simple, but it works. And
well, I think that goes to that point where I find this too with some videos that people want to overcomplicate things a little bit, where nobody gives a shit anymore. Just give me what I want. I don't need, like.
Yeah, he's out there doing it, and that's all that matters.
Well, again, when I watch a travel, I don't need this like 30-minute, I want to just get to the good stuff. And I think people are, I don't know if that says a good thing or bad thing about where we're heading, but
I don't know.
I know it's available.
I enjoy them, and it's something I would have to say I did not see coming.
Well, I think the concept too of like the tourism at home type thing, learning more about your own city because you're kind of forced to when you can't go anywhere. I think it's really interesting too, because you take things for granted that are under your nose. You don't.
Yeah.
How many times? I'm not saying you, but how many times do we look at our statues that are downtown, and we don't do that because it's just the thing that's there that we go by every day.
I mean, I would say for me, I try to make it look better than what a local person maybe have a preconceived notion about. Like I live closer to Lehigh's campus, so I can walk to Lehigh, and Lehigh is pretty. They have amazing buildings, and I'll take pictures of it just for my personal satisfaction. And it's like, are you back in England, Claire? I had a comment, and I'm like, no, I'm not back in England. It's Lehigh. That's how good I can make it look, because I mean,
you're like ragging on Lehigh. Don't start to like.
No, but it's true.
Be nice.
It's true. I got a comment.
I can make them look good. No, I agree. And that's something too. When you show somebody who's one of those mopey locals.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I hate stupid. Where they can see it that way and go, wow, that is actually astonishing. We live in a pretty awesome place, Yeah.
And I just took it with my phone, and I'm always walking around steel stacks as well, and I always see something new or different lighting and different time of day, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I know I was saying goodbye to you like 10 minutes ago, but I have one more question. Where's your favorite spot you may have already named it, but where's your favorite spot to take? Where's your favorite spot to take pictures? Is there an underrated spot in Bethlehem that you would recommend to anybody?
No, I mean, I live on the south side, so there's a bunch of murals over here, and a bunch of like there's even this one little corner that has, if you know in Nashville, like those wings that every Instagrammer loves.
Yeah.
I think there's one on South Side that's really small, but it's so cute, and I haven't gotten a picture there yet, but South Side has some really cool things.
Where is that one?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I walk past it almost every day.
Every day.
Just walking. But Main Street, I love taking pictures on Main Street or Moravian.
That's where I'm going right now. We're gonna get ready for a retail week thing. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm headed down. Listen, thank you again. This was a lot of fun. And hang on for a second. Claire, appreciate it. And you'll get to come back. We'll do a second one.
Ooh, a second one. George, one last thing. I do have an identical twin. So
you do?
Yeah, so maybe we can do
what's her name?
Part 2.
What's her name?
Her name's Caroline.
Caroline Claire. Yeah, I'll have you guys both on.
Yeah.
Where in the world is she?
State College.
Oh, okay. Not like too far. All right, no, that'll be fun. Let's do it.
Yes. Thanks, George.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.